In 3D software, artists work with a variety of different types of objects and components. We've already explored cameras, one type of object, but most of this course will be dedicated to polygonal meshes. Polygonal meshes are a geometry type that is constructed entirely from polygons, usually four-sided polygons referred to as quads, or three-sided polygons referred to as tris. Assets that are modeled for game engines need to be constructed entirely from polygons. Other geometry types, such as curves, NURB surfaces, and subdivision surfaces, can't be exported into a game engine unless they are somehow converted to polygons first. Lighting artists, animators, and character setup artists also make use of a variety of other object types, such as lights, joints, and constraints. But in this course, we'll be focusing entirely on polygonal or poly modeling tools. As mentioned earlier, every polygonal mesh is constructed of polygons, and each polygon consists of three main components: points, edges, and faces. If we create a polysphere and hold down the right mouse button over the object, we'll see a radial selection menu listing these polygon components. Dragging the mouse to one of them, for example, vertex, will switch us into component mode so that we can select and interact with the object's vertex components, also known as vertices or simply verts. We can right mouse drag again to select a different component type, such as edges, or right mouse once again and drag down to the select option to exit component mode and return to object selection mode. Users can also switch between object and component modes by clicking on the scene selection mode icons in the status line toolbar. The icon to the far right, showing an arrow over a grid, switches the user into component mode. The middle icon, showing an arrow over a square and circle, switches to object mode. And the far left icon is used for selecting groups of objects. You can activate different selection methods by clicking on one of the three icons at the top of the toolbar. The arrow, which is the default setting, allows the user to make a selection by left-clicking or by left-dragging a selection box. The icon showing an arrow surrounded by a dotted line activates lasso selection, so the user can select objects or components by drawing an irregular shape around them. And the icon showing a paintbrush over the dotted circle activates a paint selection behavior. In this mode, left-clicking and dragging adds objects or components to the selection. In all these modes, left-clicking or dragging with the Control key pressed removes items from the current selection, and left-clicking or dragging while holding down the Shift key adds objects or components to the selection. In order to effectively model an object, it's critical that we become comfortable managing object and component selection. In the next chapter, we'll look into how Maya's manipulation tools can be used to reposition and shape a mesh.